From the moment Amina was born in the small town of Mombasa, people noticed something unusual about her. Her eyes sparkled with a kind of light that seemed to see more than what existed in the physical world, and her laughter carried a rhythm that made the air itself seem to vibrate. Doctors and scientists who visited her family were puzzled not by illness, but by vitality. She was different, and no explanation sufficed. By the time she was 5, Amina could read books meant for teenagers and solve math problems that left her teachers dumbfounded. Numbers weren't just symbols to her. They were living entities she could speak, bend, and reshape in her mind. Her parents, humble vendors at the local market, had never imagined their daughter would stir such attention. Yet, whispers began to spread. A child like no other, some said. A prodigy. But even that label felt inadequate. At 7, Amina invented a device that could generate electricity from the friction of wind against tree leaves. It was crude, but worked enough to power the family's small radio for days. Scientists who visited Mombasa were intrigued but could not replicate her methods. Every time they tried, the device would refuse to function for anyone but Amina. Some suggested coincidence. Others muttered about luck. But Amina just smiled. To her, it was simple. The world obeyed patterns she could feel, not just see. School became both a sanctuary and a battlefield. Children adored her, drawn to the way she could turn a game of chess into a lesson on probability, or explain black holes with stories of stars that lost their way. Yet, jealousy and fear followed. Teachers were torn between admiration and intimidation. Standardized tests, the very tools designed to measure intelligence, failed utterly. She scored beyond the limits of the scoring system, as if the numbers themselves recoiled in her presence. When she turned 10, Amina began experimenting with ideas that even university scientists approached with caution. She could predict weather patterns with uncanny precision, not from satellites or instruments, but by observing the behavior of birds and the patterns of clouds. She explained the migrations of fish in the Indian Ocean and the subtle shift of tides in ways that seemed almost poetic, but when she offered equations to validate her claims, the formulas appeared foreign, too advanced for even seasoned mathematicians. By 12, her fame reached far beyond Mombasa. International journals attempted to study her brain activity. MRI machines, EEGs, and every modern imaging technology were brought to bear. The results baffled research. Her neural pathways seemed to form patterns that existed in no known topology. Her mind didn't follow conventional laws. It created new ones. Cognitive scientists spoke of a new dimension of thought, yet none could truly grasp it. Amina herself remained untouched by the labels. She didn't seek awards or fame. Her law was a playground of ideas. She would sit for hours in the shade of a mango tree, drawing invisible connections between stars and music, between fractals and laughter. Her thoughts were both microscopic and cosmic, simultaneously grounding and transcendent. When a renowned physicist came from Germany to study her, he asked, "Amina, how do you do this? How does your mind reach beyond what we understand?" She looked at him, eyes steady, and replied simply, "I do not go beyond the world. I simply see it as it already is." That answer, simple yet profound, left him speechless. He realized that Amina did not need to be understood. She needed to be experienced. And that experience could not be contained within theories or textbooks. By 15, she began to speak at international conferences, not as a prodigy, but as a visionary. She presented ideas that reshaped discussions on energy, mathematics, and environmental conservation. Governments and corporations sought her insight, yet she refused to be confined by bureaucracies. Her solutions were elegant, yet unconventional, rooted in an understanding that blended intuition, observation, and sheer creativity. Even then, some critics tried to rationalize her brilliance. Perhaps she has a rare genetic mutation, one scientist suggested. A unique brain structure, another proposed. Yet, every hypothesis fell short. Amina was not an anomaly to be dissected. She was a phenomenon to be witnessed. Her story reached millions, inspiring children across the globe, especially black girls who had been told their potential was limited by circumstance, skin color, or societal expectation. Amina became a symbol now because she conquered the impossible, but because she revealed that the impossible was always within reach. One day, a young girl asked her, "Amina, will we ever understand your mind?" Amina smiled her brilliance, radiating warmth rather than arrogance. "You don't need to understand it. You only need to believe that you, too, can see what others cannot yet imagine." Amina's life continued to defy science, but in her defiance was a deeper truth. Some gifts are not meant to be contained by rules, formulas, or even logic. They exist to remind the world of its limitless possibilities. In the end, the scientists, the reporters, and even the skeptics could not explain her. And perhaps that was the point. Some minds are not meant to be explained, they are meant to illuminate. And Amina, the black girl whose brilliance could not be contained, illuminated everything around her simply by being